What if the next version of you wasn't more healed? What if she was having more fun? We're here, it's May, and I'm here to tell you, I'm here to give you the permission to be whimsical this month. But I'm not just talking whimsical. I'm talking aggressively whimsical. I'm talking frustratingly whimsical. April was all about clarity and healing, putting in the work, planting the seeds, watering them, taking care of them, tending to yourself, watering your life, maybe having hard conversations and sitting with yourself. But now we're in May, and April showers bring May flowers, my girl. It is officially May, and now everything is blooming. And I am not telling you to analyze it. I am not telling you to look at them up close. I am not telling you to pick it apart. I am telling you to aggressively frolic through the fields of all of the things that are blooming for you. To enjoy it. To aggressively whimsical-fied your life. I want you to take every ounce of anger, frustration, aggression, every ounce of you that craves more, every bit of you that needs more, every single bit of you, and I want you to go and get it. I want you to be so aggressive with the ways that you find joy this month that there is no other option. That by the end of May, you will be locked into having the time of your life. Welcome back to the Self-Love Archives podcast. I am your host and your self-love bestie, Julia Salvia. Welcome to the podcast. And yes, this is going to be a very aggressive podcast. So if aggressiveness, frustration, and anger makes you uncomfortable, good. Sit in it. Listen to this, because by the end of this episode, you are going to know exactly where to put all of that energy that has been pent up inside of you. If there's one thing that has always made me uncomfortable, girl to girl here, sit down for this one, it's anger. It is the one emotion that I just cannot pour into anything because I'm so uncomfortable with anger. I'm mostly uncomfortable with other people's anger because I have been in so many situations, truly on a serious note, in so many situations where I am so incredibly uncomfortable, and there are people that just do not know how to properly emote, was that a word? Their anger in the healthy way. But my anger, I am definitely it's probably an insecurity of mine, honestly. If I am uncomfortable by other people's anger from both places of fear because it makes me uncomfortable, insecurity because it makes me uncomfortable, I'm definitely maybe a little insecure with my own anger. So we're kind of in this together this month, because this is like everything you've ever wanted to do. You want to know everything that I've ever wanted to do? I want to go to one of those smash break rooms. Not that kind of room, but one of those rooms where you just break things. There's a name for it. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I just want to break things. Okay. But I feel like there's a more fun way. First of all, I don't know a local place where I could go do that safely. But there's one thing that I really think could be so healing for me, and that is frolicking through a massive field of flowers and screaming at the top of my lungs. And the thing is like, I can so picture myself crying, laughing after it all. And it feels so freeing. So freeing. And I don't want my anger to make me uncomfortable anymore. I don't want I don't want to be insecure when it comes to my anger anymore. And I don't think you do either. See, anger is such a cool emotion because we can use it to fuel our action, fuel our energy towards a purpose, a reason, a something. And why not take it and instead of use it in ways that just don't help you, like taking out all of your anger on your partner or getting angry and pissed off at yourself that you are putting yourself down, like rather than do that, why don't we put it into things that are just for the sake of pure joy? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Because I think that sounds like a pretty good damn idea. Okay, so what is aggressively whimsical? I know you're wondering. It's not like some dictionary sort of term. It's something that I like to call doing things just because you can. Letting joy be loud. Because whoever said that joy needed to be quiet, calm, and chill? I don't know. And if you prefer it that way, by all means. But this right here, this is loud joy. This is aggressive joy. Being aggressively whimsical means that you are not shrinking your enjoyment. You are not shrinking your pleasure, your happiness, your joy, your laughter. You are not waiting for anyone's approval, anyone's permission. You are having fun just for the sake of having fun. I want you to take all of the anger you have ever had and I want you to put it into joy. I want you to put it into fun. I want you to put it all into making yourself happy and doing things that just bring you so much joy and so much happiness and so much laughter. Anger is energy. Energy is movement, and movement provides you with life. Picture yourself right now. Picture a field of whatever flowers are your favorite, whatever colors are your favorite, whatever weather is your favorite. Now I want you to run. I want you to run with every part of your body through this field. None of the flowers are getting squished or smushed. Nothing's breaking. You are running at full speed. Even if you don't think you can run that fast, you are running at full speed. And the only picture a photographer could get of you in this moment is one of those really cool aura movement photos that are just all vibes. They're my favorite. Because you are so aggressively whimsical in this moment that the only thing that you could get from this image, from this picture, is joy. Because, like, how could you not be happy for her? How could you not picture this version of you running through a field of flowers because you fucking can and not feel joy? And not feel laughter and not feel happiness for her. Maybe you even want to cry a little. I felt a little tear coming up there. I did. I really did. Because by being aggressively whimsical and pouring it into something for the sake of it, you kind of set something free. You set something free that almost feels as though it's been locked up inside of you. Especially if you're like me and you just lock up all of the anger inside of you. The only time that I really ever put out my anger is at the gym or in my car. Have you ever had a good car scream? Yeah, those are rough. I don't think I've ever had a good, oh my gosh, a pillow scream. But nothing beats a car scream, okay? And if you happen to have a mountain in the middle of nowhere that you can go stand on top of safely and scream, Maybe you're screaming in the field of flowers. Truly. I think what holds us back from truly enjoying joy and being joyful and taking this anger, aka energy, we're calling it energy now because that is what anger is. It is energy, it is action. Sometimes I think we think it's embarrassing. It's like cringy to fully enjoy something. Remember when we were younger and there were things that you wanted to try, but it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool to try pottery or like art class or really enjoy acting, really enjoy doing something creative or doing the arts or doing something just because it's fun. Like you don't have to be good at singing to enjoy singing. You don't have to be the best at playing guitar to like playing guitar. When did we stop doing things just because we wanted to do them? Look, no one lives the same or walks the same path as you. No one is walking in your shoes. No one is living your life. So why let other people decide what fun looks like to you? If you like something or you've been wanting to try something, go for it. And don't just go for it lightly. I want you to aggressively go for it. It doesn't matter if no one else likes this. It doesn't matter if you think you're too old for it. It doesn't matter if you've never seen someone do it before. It doesn't matter if you are not good at it. It does not matter what people think. It doesn't even necessarily matter what you think at the end of the day. Because this is not for thinking. This is for enjoyment. This is for joy. This is because you can. And this is your permission right now, if you need it, to go out and do things for the sake of joy, to do things because they bring you joy. This month, romanticize something small. Romanticize your boring old routines. Run through a field of flowers. Do something you have never done before. Buy yourself the flowers, grab a cup of coffee, wear whatever the hell you want on a random Tuesday. You want to wear hot pink lipstick to work on Wednesday, but you're afraid of what everybody else thinks? Guess again. You're wearing that hot pink lipstick to work on Wednesday. Or did I say Tuesday? You're wearing it all week. Look, you did the work. You grew. And now you are blossoming into this gorgeous, wonderful version of you. This month is not the month where you question anything, honestly. But it's most especially not the month where you question what brings you joy. You are going to live in that joy. You are going to exist in joy. You are going to be so aggressively whimsical in your life this month that there is no looking back. There is no other option. This month, you are going to be so aggressively yourself that by the end of it, you are going to look back at a completely different person. You are going to be so aggressively who you are that if anybody dares to question you, red flag. You are going to be so aggressively yourself this month that you are going to love yourself furiously, frustratingly, more than you ever have before. I am genuinely incredibly excited for all that this month is going to bring. I am filming this episode just a little bit in advance, and let me tell you, I am looking forward to being right there with you for the month of May. I would love to know what you are going to be aggressively whimsical about this month and where you are going and what you are finding and what you are doing to bring in so much more joy into your life aggressively. please let me know. Comment below. We have a link in the show notes on all platforms, and you can click it. You can leave some little notes for us. You can leave some information. You can tell me what you are going to be so aggressively whimsical about this month that there's no looking back. I'm so excited for you. I am so excited for us. And it's just going to be such a cool freaking month. Thank you for joining me today on the Self Love Archives podcast. I will see you next time. 1 week from today, 12 o'clock Eastern time. I better see you there. I better see you there. I love you. Bye.